And so ultimately, going back to my motivation about my family, I want to study sickle cell disease. I want to study lupus. I want to study diabetes. I want to study, PCOS. Like, I want to use my skills as a mathematician to investigate these things since they're not being investigated enough.
Your hands on my body. It's better than any man I.
Good morning friends. Welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday. It's Sunday for me. I'm currently on my morning walk. I'm about 2 miles in, and I decided to go ahead and make this a study vlog because I have a very important meeting tomorrow where I need to give some updates, and therefore I really need to finish some updates. And so even though it's Sunday, I need to get some work done, and I wanted to just record for the sense of accountability. We all know that like my goals and my ultimate directions are the things that inform my choices. And so after doing my quarter to reset and my April vlog and in my last weekend vlog where I shared all the milestones, I've just been thinking a lot about my long-term goals, about like what I need to do next as a mathematician, as a scholar. Like, I need to find a long-term gig. I need to really build up my academic reputation. I'm trying to hit body goals by 30. Yes. So I have a lot I want to do. And so I've been asking a lot of questions, as one does, researching, getting advice. And honestly, it's actually more of advice that I've already known. So I actually want to talk about that, like how I'm realizing that some of the things I've learned throughout my math journey, like the timeline, and how it's really just reinforcing the things I've been telling y'all for like a year now. So anyway, I am about another mile still. I like to do 3 miles. So I'm going to leave, but I wanted to say good morning because I haven't spoken yet. I just discovered this park and I'm in love with it. I've discovered about 3 new ones, and so these summer vlogs, you're gonna get sick of me outside, like actually sick of me. So finest Thai and ice in the city. Thank you. Yeah. It is smooth. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. I'll be back. Have a good day. Okay, I'm all showered, clean, together. It is currently 1:48, and so WPP starts at 4 p.m. It is from 4 to 6 every other Sunday. It's kind of every Sunday anyway. So I have 2 hours. I said to say I have 2 hours to like get done what I want, and then I'll have WPP, and then I will leave and go to the library to do some more studying until they close, and then I'll come home and go to bed. So that is the agenda for the rest of today, and a major part of the agenda is preparing for a meeting tomorrow, and that involves doing a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to create and updating my CV, and those are the main things. But like making the PowerPoint involves like a lot of my notes and shit. But since I am going to be updating my CV, I thought it would be helpful to give a kind of background of my math timeline, like my career journey in math. If you can hear my dryer, I feel like you probably can. Sorry, it's Sunday reset. But I wanted to just give some context to my career journey as a mathematician, starting from high school to now. So depending on where you are in your journey, maybe you can find similar experiences, look into resources if you are interested in doing what I do. And then I will also share what exactly it is I do. So yeah, let's do it. So I'm actually going to screen record. I have notes, of course, but I wanted to show photos as proof of what I'm saying. So when I think about my math career journey, it definitely starts in high school. So we're on my Substack, where it is my newsletter, and I don't remember which one I shared this in. I think it's in pathology, problem solving, and public health, where I shared photos from my journey and went very in detail about why I work in medicine. Here are the photos I'm looking for. Yay! Okay, so yes, this is on my Substack. A lot of the information about who I am and my journey that I think people want me to make videos about, I actually make in my Substack. My videos are about my lifestyle. I'm not teaching you anything. So if you want to know all of my like deep thoughts, you should go read them. But yes, I wanted to pull up for the first picture in the left here because in high school I started with the I See STEM in My Future. It was a outreach program for youth in Mississippi, and the contract or the deal was you sign up for free and you get paid. We would meet once a month in person at Jackson State, and then we had 2 to 3 weeks on campus at Jackson State in the summer, and it was a 2-year program. So every month for 2 years and then 2 weeks in the summer. And every time we went, we got paid like, I don't even remember, probably like $50 or something. Like every time you show up, you get $50 check in a little baggie. And there's food there, you bring your parents, like it was like a whole thing. And in the month-to-month things, there would be seminars where we would learn a specific thing. And in the summer, we would take classes. Like that's when I built my very, very first website, when I learned how to code, when I played with robotic stuff. Like on campus, opportunities, research opportunities for high schoolers made a big difference for me. And so the top left photo here, if I pull it up, you can see me in like 8th grade. This is Brandon, Chelsea, Ajane. I remember a lot of names. I know for a fact that Rush went on to do, I think one of these, RIP. Michaela's doctor, vet. I know Rush also got an advanced degree, and so I wonder where the rest of everyone is. So anyway, not the point. I know that my point is that this program definitely influenced a lot of us to have STEM-related careers or to go into further education, and so this was important in my math journey. And then I was also very heavily involved in JROTC as a youth. I did all 4 years in high school, and JROTC taught me so much about being a public speaker, presentations, writing, being a leader. There would be summer programs similar to this where I went to Mississippi State for 2 weeks and they taught us things, and just taking advantage of those 2-week, 3-week workshops or any on-campus like high school clubs that I was in really helped keep my interest in mathematics. And I actually went to college to be industrial engineering. It was industrial and systems engineering at Georgia Tech. I've always been interested in systems and understanding the way things work through connections. So it's no surprise that my Ph.D. is related to systems. But yeah, it all started in building that interest in writing, in math, in curiosity in high school. So those were important, and I got paid for it. So technically it's part of my career, right? And then in college, the woman that changed my life, Dr. Jana Talley, and actually let me just go to my website. I have this whole story on my website, so I'll just read it. Dr. Quindle Jones, also known as Dr. Quinn, is a 28-year-old mathematical scientist originally from Jackson, Mississippi. She earned her bachelor's degree in mathematics from Jackson State University in spring 2019. While attending Jackson State, Quindle Quindle devoted herself to using mathematics to connect to youth by volunteering in the local community. She made these connections through volunteer work at ACT workshops, GED prep courses, I was a tutor, and outreach programs such as JSU Girls Engaging in the Mathematical Sciences, the GEMS program. And the head of the GEMS program was my undergraduate mentor, Dr. Jana Talley. And not only did she continue then and now to encourage girls K through 12 to consider mathematics education, but she also encouraged me to consider graduate school. She literally told me, like, you're going to get a Ph.D. and Jackson State doesn't have one, so it won't be here. You need to apply other places. Like, because of that, she told me about REUs, and she told me about the Field of Dreams conference. She nominated me for it. It just exposed me to things I had literally never thought about. Before she said it to me, it wasn't something I had considered. And then when I went to Field of Dreams, it introduces you to what research is. You get to ask panelists all kinds of questions. You get to hear about careers. I heard of biostatistics and biomathematics, and I was like, what's that? What is that? Oh, and then I'm like, I can get paid to learn? What? I was like, it was a whole new world going to that conference. And I went twice. I went back. The first was just like kind of exposure, and then I went back, thank God. And I was able to actually like apply to those RUs. I applied to like 12. I got into maybe 10 of those, and I chose the one with the most benefits. Like, I showed all my acceptances to my mentors, and they helped me choose. After my first RU, so this is during college, this is the summer before my senior year, I did an RU, or research experience for undergraduates, at the Rochester Institute of Technology. And that is when I decided to pursue my graduate degree in mathematical modeling. I applied to a graph theory and dynamical systems program in interest of learning about dynamical systems, because that's what I do now. But I was actually assigned to the graph theory group instead. And so I didn't learn much about dynamical systems till grad school, but I was still able to like see the work of the group that was doing dynamical systems. And so I was like, oh, that's so cool. Yes. And then I was still enjoying doing the graph theory research, just like that I'm learning math and learning what research is as a mathematician, like what that looks like, and that it creates a lot of room for work-life balance. I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to keep doing this. That's when I decided I would do that. And RIT did have a math modeling program, and I did apply and get in there. But I actually got the SREB fellowship at VCU, and it had a higher pay. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. Everything's paid for, right? And so the reason I decided to go there, though, was again because of an undergraduate experience. I went to JMM. The reason I chose RIT as my summer program was because it had in the package that they would pay for us to go to JMM. And by going there, I met Dr. Rebecca Siegel. I went to her talk, like, you choose talks to go to, and you're supposed to choose those based on your interests. And that's what I did. And I went to her talk, and I was like, what is this? This is so cool. I would love, like, I walked up to her afterwards, and I was like, this is really cool. Do y'all have a graduate program? She gave me her card. I emailed her. I was like, I would love to apply. Do y'all have any waivers? Here's the waiver. I applied. Here's a TA-ship. Here's a fellowship. 3 years later, I'm her student. The woman that I saw the cool work, she was my advisor. And so I wouldn't have met her or gotten that opportunity had I not gone to JMM, that conference, to joint mathematics meetings. And so I just want to show a picture. Here's me and Dr. Talley at the Field of Dreams conference. And then this is us at JMM, that conference. And then also I have on my website the photo of my mentors at JMM, Dr. Wright and Dr. Talley, formative in me becoming who I am today. And this is also a photo of me when I decided I wanted to apply to grad school. Like, I knew that I was going to apply, and I bought GRE books, and I started preparing to go. But I didn't hear of VCU until January of the applying cycle. So it was pretty late in the game. I'd already applied to a bunch, and it was just so serendipitous. So those were my undergraduate experiences that really were influential to my mathematics career. And then when it comes to graduate school, there were a few more opportunities. So I think about so many things. I mean, I had many opportunities to present my work at school. So when I first started, you don't really have a presentation worth of things to say, but you start with a poster, and that just gives like the very basic of what you're doing. Any preliminary details that you have, or maybe not a whole study's worth. And so I was able to start sharing those around 2022, but I started grad school in 2019. So before 2022, all I really had for experience was my first 2 years of classes, and then the pandemic happened, and so I did a bunch of online stuff, and then we finally started having things in person in 2022. But in 2021, online program I did was Swagger, and I don't have any photos from this time, but it was an online summer program where we met a couple times a week on Zoom, and it was massive, and it had like 15 organizers and like hundreds of students, breakout rooms, assignments. It's what made me create a website in the first place. It's how I met the woman that got me this job. It's how I've connected to people that are now like friends in my network, you know? So that was an influential program. And I found out about that just from reading the emails that come into my inbox. I gotta get better about that. When you actually read them, there will be like ads for workshops. There'll be ads for conferences. And like, these are the things that make the difference. Talking to people, letting them know who you are. And so by that happening, even just when we were all on Zoom, has still been instrumental. And then when we were back in person, I got to go to the data science and social justice workshop. And so much fun, guys. So much freaking fun. So informative. It was another workshop I applied to called Data Science and Social Justice. It was 2021, so it was fresh after, you know, when everyone was caring about Black people. Oh, how the woke times have changed. But people were investing money and talking about these things. And I was very invested as a Black person. And that the fact that they were bridging math and social justice was incredibly interesting to me. So I applied and I got in, and it was 6 weeks in Rhode Island. And it was beautiful, fun, informative. I recorded all the weeks I was there. They're on my YouTube channel. And also made connections that have helped me in my career currently. And so this was a pivotal experience because it just really broadened my network, and it was one of the first in-person grad school things I did where I was like feeling like a researcher, where I was contributing, talking about coding, where it was like the RU I had, but like a grown-up version. And so it was just so much more fun. And I loved it. And so I did other summer workshops. So here's another photo from the summer program in 2022. Dr. Nathan Alexander, who is well known in the like social justice sphere. So is Dr. Omaira Ortega. So is, I don't know her last name, I only know her first name. I want to be professional. I don't know her professional name, so I'm not gonna say it. And yeah, so I really enjoyed this experience. And then it allowed me to be invited to speak on this panel where I made these friends in grad school. It also got me to go to the mathematics problems in industry workshop in 2023 hosted by SciAm. And I don't think I have a picture of that up here, but I vlogged it of me going to speak on a panel. I can pull it up actually. And it's my Chicago vlog. So here are my summer vlogs from when I started, when I was out in Rhode Island, and then afterwards, the next summer, Chicago travel vlog, the friends I made. So I was invited to speak on a panel at the Math Alliance workshop that was about career journeys. And so all of these experiences have been pivotal in me knowing that like I want to do science communication. I do want to encourage others to do mathematics and science. I really enjoy talking and writing about math, and I enjoy the research that I do as well. And I love that I get paid to do the research and to learn and to talk. Like, I think that's incredible. I think that is so incredible. So those were some really important grad school experiences. And another one was a conference where, which vlog was it in? And it was what sparked one of the next chapter of my dissertation, and which then sparked what I'm doing right now. And so just that feedback and the conversation and sharing my work was also pivotal. So like these conferences, these workshops, they have shaped my career more than anything in my trainings. And so that's what I really want people to understand, that like my interest has been nurtured. Like I didn't fall into this. I'm not naturally gifted or anything. I've just done a lot of math. I have tried consistently to learn it. I've done workshops and programs to learn it. I've taught others how to do it. Like it has been a lot of effort to do this, and I feel like any person that is willing to do the same can do it. Like it's not about inherent ability, it's about consistency, you know, in learning. And so now that I've gone over this, I really want to stress the importance of probably subscribing to my Substack, because I talk a lot about this, where I've shared exactly kind of what I've said in this. And I also always have audio where I read through it. So if you are busy, you just want to listen to it and you don't want to read, you can do that. But if you do want to read, you get the photos. And so I would definitely check out the Substack. I've made a lot of the math content I think people might be looking for from me can be found over there. But before I start talking more specifically about what I do, like I work in pathology in public health, and I want to go over that. But first, I really need to go ahead and update the WPP presentation for today, because I don't want to do it last minute. I guess while I'm making it would be the perfect opportunity to explain what the Reproductive People Club is. So the Reproductive People Club is a group I started in 2024, January 2024, inspired by something I used to do with my bestie, Dr. Jones, Chelsea Jones. When the pandemic started, she was in Alabama with her husband, and I was still in Virginia, and we were both still in like graduate school mode and needed to get work done. So we decided to meet on Zoom every morning from 8 to 10 in the morning, just to silently do work together, like co-work together. And sometimes we would add in our other friend, Dr. Goldsboro. That's their titles now. And we were pretty consistent with it for a good long time. And when I decided to title it Reproductive People, because it was like, that was the purpose. It was something to keep us productive during the pandemic, and when we had every reason to not do shit at home, you know? And yeah, it was pretty consistent for a while, but then life became like a longer pandemic, and when it faded away, the idea never went away from me. We even once tried to turn it into a podcast. Like we had made an Instagram page and everything where we were going to record ourselves working and talking about topics, and we recorded one episode and realized that like, okay, I would have to edit, and then we would have to, and it was a lot more work than we thought it would be. And so it just never went anywhere. And then in 2024, I was like, I really want to connect with my audience. Like I want to know who these people are. Like I want to connect. That's the reason I started this YouTube channel. So I decided, yeah, I want to bring back that Zoom element of it. Like, why not bring it back? And then as soon as I thought about doing it on Zoom, I was like, oh, well, I have to call it Reproductive People Club. And I made sure my friends were like cool with that. She didn't care. And so yeah, this club is for people that care about upholding the mission of this club, which is to uphold the ABCs of living freely, authenticity, balance, and confidence. Those are the ABCs. And we stay accountable to each other in this mission. Like we want to be ourselves. We're not trying to be like each other. We all have our own individual goals, but this space allows us to be honest about what those goals are, allows us to keep each other accountable, creating systems, helping each other out on how to meet those goals. And by being accountable, it's building confidence in our word and with ourselves and to others. And so I think I'm gonna make this maroon. So that's the mission. So if that's not a mission that someone shares, I wouldn't invite them to join. Like then you'd be wasting your time. And so we begin the session by doing yoga together. And so let me go back to my YouTube channel and go to my playlist. So we do yoga together. I find it's important. I used to do a lot of online yoga and go to yoga classes to connect to your body, and before you try to connect to your mind, or to make sure that when you do one, you still make time for the other. So I have a playlist of Black Girl Yoga, and these are all pretty old. I'm sure that these creators have more recent videos, but this is what I go through when I'm deciding what yoga video to choose. I try to choose one that's less than like 20 minutes. or less than 30 minutes. So are these colors weird? I like these colors, but they feel kind of weird. I don't want this to be green though. Ew. It says for us to take attendance. I took attendance, and after a certain amount I kick people out, because why would you join something you know you have to be at and then not show up? That makes me really upset. I'm not gonna hold you. When people cancel or flake on me, it makes me upset. So before we even start, I had people sign commitment forms, or fill out commitment forms, and still people have been kicked out because, like, I mean, I only take people's word as seriously as they take it. So if you ain't gonna do it, I ain't gonna make you do it. But I don't know why you signed up for something you ain't gonna do. I think that's crazy. I do. So that's why I kick people out. Like, these are people I'm getting invested in and that I care about, and you don't get to just hop in and out and take advantage of these people's time and kindness. Like, we're building a sacred space. Honor that and show up. Don't be rude. That's just how I feel, That's just me. So it's my club, my rules. Let me update my report card. Thanks. Alrighty. And then we have our reset, where I just put on the timer and we mute ourselves. I start a jam, and then we leave. Now that I've finished the WPP presentation, I feel like I want to go back to what I was saying about what it is exactly I do now. So I could reference again the Substack, so let me screen record. So if I go back to pathology, problem solving, and public health, in here I kind of explain what it is that I do. And so I've always kept my interest in mathematics as my preferred toolkit to understand complex systems. My interest in pathology, the study of disease, and public health specifically, came from seeing my family members, my mom with lupus, my father with diabetes, my classmates in high school with sickle cell, and my community rattled with other illnesses, struggling. I was influenced also by my brother's interest in pathology. He has several degrees in chemistry and was the one who told me what that term was. And while his toolkit was chemistry, mine has always been mathematics. So that's why I'm a mathematical biologist. I want to find solutions for my community to look into illnesses that are not sufficiently funded because the demographics are not rich enough to make a profit or not large enough to be important or valued in this society. I want to study, understand, and find treatments for diseases that affect predominantly Black and minority populations. I aim to one day have my own lab for systems biology to do exactly that. So that's like my mission. My postdoc research position is in a systems medicine lab. So I'm at the nexus of experimentation, simulation, and clinical translatability. I'm working as a semi-independent researcher in systems medicine. So that means that I'm using my skills as a computational biologist to study medicine. And so what that looks like is, I have put up here several photos that kind of explain what I'm talking about. But essentially, I have expertise in solving advanced word problems. So in this top left here, you see the example of a regular word problem. I have 6 times as many muffins as scones and twice as many muffins as donuts. I have 170 pastries altogether. How many donuts do I have? You would take this and you would set up an equation to solve how many you have. And that is essentially what math modeling is. You take a real world question, you create an equation for it, you solve it. But of course, there are very complex systems in biology. So I basically have learned how to take more serious word problems and apply them and solve them to find insights about the real world. So as a mathematical modeler, I use my expertise in mathematics firstly, then computer science second, because that's how you translate the equations into simulations, and my knowledge in biology third, because I learned the biology as it's relevant to my work. And so we begin by defining a real world problem, and then after you define the problem, it's important to realize what your assumptions are about that model. So you need to understand Like you assume that this doesn't grow unlimitedly, like it can't reach an infinite amount of cells. Maybe you assume that it grows logistically. Maybe you assume that these are the important components. Maybe you assume that there are always assumptions in a setup and you have to acknowledge those. And then once you acknowledge those, you can define your variables. So what exactly are the players in what you're studying? What are the things that make things move? And then once you have all of that together, you create the model, which is a set of equations or photos or diagram that explain what's happening, that explain the equations. And then you simulate those, and then you must analyze those results and figure out what they mean in context to your system. Something that I would always have to stress to students, like they be able to get the answer is 6, but like 6 what? What is the context? What does the answer mean about what the question asked? How many donuts was it? You know, like you have to understand it in context. And so that's what my degree taught me how to do. It's systems modeling and analysis. So I know how to model systems and I know how to analyze systems. And then a big part of being an academic is reporting results, writing papers, going to conferences, sharing that. And so that is what I do. I specifically, the real world problems that I have chosen, my specialty is diseases, pathology, studying the body, immunology, infectious disease. That is my area of study that I want to be known for, where I want people to know that I do this work. And so having my recent publication in math modeling of sickle cell is exactly merging those disciplines together. And so I feel like it would be helpful to illustrate what I'm saying by going through my dissertation. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's literally 90 minutes, but I want to give the highlights to explain what I mean by this process, right? So I wanted to study sickle cell disease and using mathematical tools, so dynamical systems, mathematical approaches to understanding sickle cell. The first thing I had to do was get a clear understanding of what sickle cell disease is. So I researched it, and then I took all that research and I broke it down into what are the areas that are being studied. How can I categorize them, right? And then in those categories, how are people using math to study in those categories? So I saw that people were using statistical models to investigate VOC, vaso-occlusive crises. I saw that people were using machine learning algorithms to investigate subjective pain scores, to classify red blood cell shape or severity based on the shape. They were using differential equations. So I was seeing what kinds of math models were being used currently in this field of study. And then I decided to take that knowledge and use what I wanted to investigate and choose based on what people were using. And so I am interested in pain in sickle cell. And so I wanted to use ordinary differential equations, and I ended up doing a project that was based more on behavior, and then another one that was based on biology. So one is about how we impact pain, like how our behavior impacts the pain we feel, and then one versus is how our internal workings are impacting things. And I just think of life in that way, that there are things that we're doing and there are things outside of our control, and both need to be understood, So yeah, I'll just take through the first one. This one is about understanding the sleep-pain relationship by using an ODE model to predict acute pain in pediatric sickle cell disease. The motivation was that one of our collaborators is a pediatric sickle cell specialist, and she talked about how it's a lot harder to understand these crises for children versus adults, because adults have had a whole history to go off of, whereas children don't have that history and are building it. And so it's hard to anticipate when these episodes will happen, how long they'll last, and that makes it hard for the families, for the hospitals, for everything. And so she has been studying this, and she had done a study that used statistical modeling, which is separate from the modeling I'm describing, using equations and mathematical techniques and dynamical systems. She used statistical modeling to find this correlation, and it was that self-reported sleep predicts high pain the next day, according to her results. And so could we use this information to create a dynamical model that analyzes the behavior and the relationships, right? And so we took the data for the age 8 to 17 And we used that data where they logged their sleep quality 0 to 100, their pain severity 0 to 100 in diaries. And we took that data and we tried to see if we could make sure we confirmed the relationship. So we looked at the pain, which is the red line, and then you see that whenever there is a rise in pain, there is a drop in the sleep quality. And so we could see from raw data that the relationship the statistics showed is true. So maybe we could model it from this data. And so we took that data and we created Excel sheets, columns, data that had the pain severity, it had the times when the patient experienced bad sleep, it had a normalized sleep quality, and drug dosage. So if they were taking opioids, was a major significant part of this. And so we took those data to initialize our model. We estimated the parameters that were related to those things. So there's a pain relaxation rate, the rate at which pain decreases in your body naturally. There's the amount at which it decreases the drug. Like there are drug relaxation rates, they fade away their effect over time. And then there's also the impact of your sleep on your pain. And so those aren't totally measurable things. Some are, some aren't. And so we have to estimate those through our simulations. And then our output, our model will tell us the pain level. It will tell us the drug level and the sleep quality level. And we want those to match up to what the patient reported. If the model that we have created matches what they reported, then perhaps the dynamics we have set up are accurate to the real world. And if they are, we can use that to create things that will change those. And so this is the math modeling part where I create an ODE, an ordinary differential equation, where I'm looking at dP, means the change in pain, over the change in time. So as time moves, how does pain move over time, right? And the equation is saying that patient pain level P drops, the negative sign, at a faster, so because it's cumulative and it's constant rate, Ki, when drugs are present. So for each drug, there is a coefficient where it says this drug drops, because it's minus, at this rate. And so each drug has its own rate, and you add them all together along with the natural realization rate. So that is how pain decreases in the body, right? But it also increases at a rate beta if a patient experiences low quality sleep with an epsilon of the sleep event. So if for a certain window of time, if you've had bad sleep within that window of time, then that will increase the amount of pain that our model is saying you're experiencing. Those assumptions are built in. So patient pain level drops at a cumulative and constant rate, Ki, when drugs are present, but increases at a rate beta if you have low quality sleep. That's what this mathematical equation is saying. And so each drug has its own elimination rate, and so they have its own equations, because there are long-acting opioids, short-acting opioids, and non-opioid medications. And so long-acting opioids will stay in your body longer, short-acting a little less, and non-opioids have different effects. And so each equation captures the amount of the standard drug within the patient, assuming that they're eliminated at a metabolized rate at a certain drug time. And so we have here a delta impulse function that activates at the time steps once you take the drug. So once you take the drug, then it will impact it then. When you take the drug, it will impact it then. So it's based on time. And so overall, this system has 4 equations where it's measuring the pain level over time and the medication over time based on the patient's data. And so we output the equation and we get the red line and we compare it to the black line, which is the real patient's data. And in an ideal world, they would look the exact same. You can see here they look kind of the same, but they're not exact. So now we must tweak either our assumptions, the number values, whatever, to make this better. And then that's what the rest of it is, like me explaining how I did that. So that though is the process of asking a question, finding data that could help you solve it, creating an equation that explains what you're trying to ask, and then coding it to see how it works, and then taking the answers and analyzing them to see what they mean in relation to your question. And that is what I do as a mathematical modeler. So that's what I do, and I honestly find it really cool that math can be used in such interesting ways that you can apply it to understand things about the real world. It's why I'm so obsessed with data, why I love that I have Excel sheets of my own data, why I love that I can do statistics on my data if I really wanted to, that I have. You can just learn so much from quantifying the real world, because numbers is how we do that. It's how you tell time. It's how you buy things. It's how you know where you're going. It's all numbers and locations, and it's just amazing to me. So that's what I do, and what I want to do long term is more of this, ideally. I know that I could at some point, because I have, this is kind of a broad set of skills, I could take it to non-biology related places. I could model a financial system. I could model an ecological system. I could model a social system, like a network. Like I could model whatever, but my interest lies within diseases and understanding the body and immunology. Like that's where I'm interested in. And so ultimately, going back to my motivation about my family, I want to study sickle cell disease. I want to study lupus. I want to study diabetes. I want to study, PCOS. Like I want to use my skills as a mathematician to investigate these things, since they're not being investigated enough. And we already know 2025 how they've cut so many funding programs directly to do with these issues, because they impact women, which is why I feel like my mission just feels so relevant now. And why I'm really serious about getting my work out there so that I can keep doing this kind of work. So that's just kind of where I'm at. I feel like what I do is important, which is why I talk about it so much and why I love it. And I just want to keep doing more of this for as long as I can, y'all, and get paid doing it, of course. Something in my teeth and I thought I got it.
Hello.
Happy Sunday. Oh.
Happy Sunday.
Hi. Happy Sunday.
Let me check the Discord. Did anyone say they won't be coming? Ooh. Welcome back. Thanks for coming to the community session. I hope the last 2 weeks have been productive for you. Always want to be in a gathering thinking about our mission, what we are holding each other accountable to, building trust in ourselves by keeping our word to not only each other, but to ourselves through our weekly report cards, through our attendance, things like that. As always, I will begin with yoga. This one is titled Imperfect Yoga to Loosen Up and Not Take Life So Seriously. I thought it'd be appropriate since we're at the end of April, starting May. Just trying to get the vibes a little loose. I know final season, it can be a bit tough. I don't know if anybody here is doing finals, but like that's the energy graduation season, so I thought this would be appropriate. As always, you can always spend this time doing whatever you feel called to, journaling, meditation, camera on or off, but we'll begin here and then we'll follow with our attendance and our check-ins for the week. So I will go ahead and get my desk together and we'll get started.
It's been a day, stressing out like crazy, just wanna be lazy.
Do certain things just to really stay alive in this world, and with the things going on in the world, there's just a lot going on. Inhale, sweep back up, and exhale. One more, inhale, sweep back up, and exhale. Perfect. Keep your fingertips on the mat, heel toe your feet apart, about to the edges of the mat. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Step it between your hands, drop it onto the back right knee. Inhale. Hand pose represents the rebirth from our practice on our mat to the practice in our daily lives. So we can take just a few more seconds. It all starts right here in your mind. What you create in here is what's going to become your reality. Bring your hands to your mouth to remind yourself to say kind words to everyone, including yourself. It's so important what you tell. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down below. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. That can be. And I appreciate the support and the kind words. Sometimes
I see there's a chat. Oh, let me close my. Oh my god, what's happening? Hi friends! Quickly want to do the attendance and then updates in the Discord. Where is my phone? After WPP, I did go to the library because the meeting I have is about updating my PIs on the paper I've been working on. I'm writing a methodology paper where I am trying to posit a new idea on the way we do the process I just described earlier of math modeling. And while we had this idea and we thought it was novel, I actually found a paper that already covers this idea. So instead of throwing away what my idea was, I decided to make notes from everything they gave me in the revisions, summarize what the paper I found was about, and use both of those to create a new direction and really try to find another way to go. So I spent this whole night making that presentation to make sure that it was as clear as possible, and doing these always helped me get my thoughts organized. Anytime I want to share information with someone else in my cohort, whether that's a PI, a director, a friend, I always make a presentation, because giving things off the fly is just, I don't prefer it. I prefer to present things. So that's what I spent this night doing, and that way I could wake up in the morning fully prepared and still show that I've made some progress despite not making my next draft. Like, it ain't that I ain't been working on it, it's that other things have happened. So this was a successful study session. Whew. Okay, I made it home. I don't think I actually showed my outfit before leaving because I was in a rush, but it is currently 11. It is 11:30, so day is basically over. Oh, I wanted to show that I put on my briefcase the two arms. So normally I wear it on my shoulder as one, but when I was like getting ready to go to campus and realizing I would have to walk up the hill, the thought of having it just on one shoulder almost made me not go at all. So then I was like, well, let's just address that. And so instead I put it on two, and so much easier. Wow. But I do feel like my study session at the library was good. I finished my presentation for my meeting tomorrow. I didn't totally finish my CV because my priority was that presentation, but I am happy that I got most of that done and organized, and I updated my to-do list for this week. So all I have now to do is my evening routine. But before I do that, I wanted to chat a bit about what I've been learning this past week, just about how I really need to stop asking questions and stop planning. I was watching something where someone talked about how they were getting into that optimization or procrastination, where you find a new tool or you find a new study technique and you optimize as much as possible to avoid actually doing the thing. And there was also another thing I feel like is a famous saying now, where it's like, studying about the thing, planning the thing is not doing the thing. Thinking about the thing is not doing the thing. Telling people you want to do the thing is not doing the thing. Putting in your calendar, time blocking when you do the thing is still not doing the thing. Like, you have to just do the thing. Those messages have been so major for me right now, because ever since I did my contract, I've been thinking about how I'm about to start looking for a job again. And so, you know, I do what I do. I'm a question Xer. I was like, so what should I do, guys? Like, asking different people in my lab, like, oh, did you do a postdoc? Did you do 1 or 2? A lot of people have done 2. I didn't realize that was normal. I was like, should I apply for grants to stay here? Should I do this? And basically all the feedback that I've been getting has been like, yes, I am correct about the things I feel like I need to do. And what that says to me is that like, I'm doing that same thing I talked about in my finding a job video about how enough with the asking questions, you just need to do this stuff. Like the answers I've been getting are the things I already determined I should be doing in my 5-year plan when I said at the end of December that in order to get the job I want, I should work on getting out 3 papers. I should work on applying for a grant. I should work on. And those things will, by getting them done and being the person who does them, will lead me there. And I already knew this, and yet I was still asking these questions. And that's when I just realized that like, I don't need any more information. I don't need any more planning tools. I don't need any more techniques. I really just need to get the shit done. And that's why I wanted to record this vlog today, to make me get stuff done, because like, that's just where I'm at. Like, I don't need to watch any more videos on how to be a certain kind of way. Like, I really just need to be that way to do the stuff. So I thought I'd share that lesson to anyone that's also in that season where you just feel like, oh, I need to know. No, you need to do. You need to do before you need to know. You know from the doing. That's just how it goes. And so that lesson has been ringing in my ears, and I'm feeling called to just log back in. In fact, I've decided that I'm gonna vlog this upcoming week. So it'll be the video after this one, because I still need the accountability to just do the shit, because enough talking. Like, I do and I talk, but like, enough talking. And also going to this conference this summer has me thinking about it. Like, I'm about to network with people. I'm networking with people. I'm applying to jobs. And so I have to have things to network about. I have things I want to share and have produced. So it's just doing time. Like, a lot of these videos are going to be all about what I am doing and what I have going on, because we're locking in, okay? I'm starting 75 hard on June 22nd. I'm thinking of doing another 30K step challenge in May. So we're doing whatever we need to do to get it done. All right? Okay. I'm going to go shower and start my nighttime routine. See you in a second. Okay friends, I'm going to end the video here. I'm actually now reading at the end of my nighttime routine, which is something we'll have to talk about in another video, but it was a recommendation from my mom, so, well, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go to bed. My tea is done, I'm clean. I still have to do my daily column, like my reflection for the day, but we're at the end of the routine, and I just wanted to say that I have accepted that I have autonomy and agency over my life, and I know so much already, and instead of continually looking for help and answers, I should just commit the time to practicing the things I say are important to me. And I have been thinking a lot about recently, and I just posted a newsletter about it, how I've only recently just started to see the future again, and that has unlocked a feeling of me wanting that kind of drive and desperation I had a couple years ago, like when I really wanted to lose weight and I really wanted to get to grad school. Like, I had a sort of desperation and a yearning for the outcomes that I have now, and up until now I haven't had any more yearnings for anything. Like, I reached my Ph.D. goal, I've lost weight, and while there are still body goals I want to reach, for the most part I'm super content with the way that I look, and I'm happy with where I am. But knowing my contract is ending, and knowing that I'm going to move, and that I get a chance to like start over again, has brought back an image of the future, and that has just made me want to act like I know, like I've been around the block a few times, like I've actually learned some shit. I know how to lose weight. I know the science behind it. I know the actions I need to take. I just need to do it long enough. I know how to do research. I just need to actually commit the time and the focus and stop letting myself be distracted or depressed or whatever, like to commit the focused time. Similarly, I know what to do for my career advancement. I have made some videos about networking and imposter syndrome and conferences, and even in this one I've talked about the importance of sharing my work. Like, I know these things. Now I just have to create the work to share and go these places, submit the forms on time, apply on time, right? So I'm really sitting in that feeling of like understanding why I move the way I move. You know, I am ultimately a person about action, about analysis, and that's why I blog. Like, I blog because there are enough instructions out there. Like, if you are looking for a glow up plan, how to get into grad school, how to lose weight, and you type it into YouTube, there are people already listing out how to do it. They've already made the tool books, right? But I think if that was enough, people wouldn't watch vlogs. People wouldn't still need to see examples. Not everyone learns from hearing lists. They need to see what that looks like. And I know that I'm one of those people, and that's why I lean towards vlogging, so that I can live an example, not just spew an example. Like, I don't need to share any more information. I just need to do the things and show you the things and let that speak for me, you know? I feel like there's a lot of talk, especially in 2025 on social media. Everyone wants to gain a following. Everyone wants to act like they know what they're doing. Everyone is suddenly an expert on something they have no certificates in. Everyone's a beauty expert, a weight loss expert, a relationship expert. Everyone's an expert, yet we don't believe in expertise. I find it really interesting, and I find it interesting because so much of it is just talk. It's a lot of talk, but where's the action? Where's the proof, you know? And I'm asking myself that as well. Like, this past week was my first A, I think, of 2025, and that alone has motivated me to just keep trying, keep doing this shit. Like, be about the things I am talking about and to show up for myself some more, you know? So yeah, just a gentle reminder to all of my fellow academic baddies, like, maybe you don't need any more advice, you don't need any more tips, maybe you just need to do the work. But anyway, I need to go ahead and go to bed because it's basically midnight, so I can prepare for tomorrow. So thanks for spending this study day with me. I'm really happy with everything I got done. Studying, vlogging, reset, WPP, like,
women's stories matter. Yeah. Right. They just matter. Yeah.
Snaps all around. So I hope that I will see you in my very next video. Bye, friend. I'm always so worried after I finish filming if I'm ashy. Like why would I check once I'm done filming? I should have checked before, but if I was, who's gonna be my ass?